Good morning and welcome to Where Entrepreneurs Thrive. My name is Russ Nolting. I'm the Regional Director at KW Colorado. Today, we're speaking with Greg Luczak to discover how he became the entrepreneur we see today and what makes him thrive. Greg, welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
Thank you very much, Russ. Yeah, it's a real pleasure being on. I appreciate the honor.
Absolutely. I'm excited about this. Greg, tell us your story, how you got into real estate, how you made your way to Keller Williams. Take it away.
Yeah. My real estate story is sort of a wonderful one. I love sharing it because I think it's such a testament to the power of the industry and what it can do. I was 30 years old, was working, my entire 20s, kind of behind the eight ball. I had a kid at 20. I was just not in a position. I was sort of in survival mode all throughout my 20s, kind of working different jobs I didn't like. Was behind the eight ball and graduating college. I had a degree in graphic design and marketing. Was working jobs like insurance claims I hated. Stuff that I did not like at all. And I found out pretty early on that corporate America and sort of that like cubicle atmosphere was not for me. And so I got a job working with a local real estate company in 2008 and was doing marketing for them. And it was, some side marketing stuff. I started trying to push video and some of the things that I ended up kind of being more well known for. But the company at the time was just like, that sounds expensive. That sounds silly. We don't want to execute it, which is funny because now it's a lot of the stuff I'm using now. But I think the real power of the story comes with, I'm 30 years old. I'm sort of working in this real estate office, but I'm not doing real estate. 2008, 2009. So the market was really dead. And so even on the marketing side, we were seeing, there was raise freezes, you're not getting any more money. You're not getting any budget to do any of the ideas you want to do, any of that kind of stuff. And so, I'm 30, kind of feeling like I got to come up with something. I know working these desk jobs is not fulfilling me at all. Kind of went in, decided to get my real estate license, went to school pretty quickly, got done with that. And then, I think I got my first like FSBO maybe 2 weeks in and off to the races. Completely different level of fulfillment, completely different level of joy waking up in the morning, completely different level of purpose in my life. And so I just try to inspire people with that as much as possible because, again, I'm just a real testament to how this business can change your life, how it can change your outlook on yourself, how it can change your purpose and what you want to wake up doing. So that was all wonderful. Hit the ground running, really felt like my back was against the wall. Again, I was 30. And so I felt like I got to make this work. I enjoy doing this. I loved the hustle, loved the game. And so I'm like, I enjoy doing this. I got to make this work. And so Russ, I just started calling expireds 4 hours a day, every day. 8 to noon, I was calling expired listings, FSBO, stuff like that too. But pretty quick, I found my niche with expireds and it was 2009. So there was plenty of them.
Yeah.
And so, I was just calling expireds 4 hours a day, building business. My first full year in the business, I did 27 units. And so I was off to the races. So from somebody who's working jobs where every time I'd bring him an idea, every time whatever it was like stupid, dumb, get on out, to now like feeling, oh, holy cow, I'm succeeding at this. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm waking up motivated. I'm waking up on fire every single morning, ready to get after it. It was pretty amazing. And so, spent the bulk of my career, about a decade of the 13 years with a major brand that wasn't Keller Williams. Really kind of realized kind of how you could leverage the major brand as far as referrals, as far as recognition, name recognition, and brand recognition. How you could leverage sort of the bigger company. And so I was a big believer in that when we started looking at ideas of running a brokerage and sort of being able to inspire people on a bigger level with the office. I just kept getting drawn to Keller Williams and what they were doing and what they stood for, and the sense of entrepreneurialism that was very, very prevalent in the company. How big the brand was and how much strength in numbers they were offering. How many tools and benefits that they had available for our agents. And so it kind of became a no-brainer. And so in November of last year, I took over as the OP of the Client's Choice office in North Colorado Springs. And here we are. We're in 3 hats. So I've got my team, the Luczak real estate team. I've got the office. my extended KWCC family, and then obviously my clients as well that I'm working with. So
Yeah.
busy days right now.
So from that beginning in 2009, and
Yeah.
I, like you, also was an expired caller. I mean, I still do the expired. We're not supposed to say the word script anymore, but I still know that script. I still can say it in my sleep.
I got on the phones recently. We were just trying to kind of inspire some of the younger agents on the team.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting on the phones recently, and some of these kids on my team, like I've got one in particular that's been hustling expireds hard for the last 3 years, and really hard the last 6 months. And so it's a little bit of a friendly competition, but like I was like dusting off some of the talk tracks and scripts, and I was like, man, I felt out of practice. And once I like converted one bell with an appointment, I was like, man, that feels good again. So I feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to smile and dial.
No doubt.
From that first FSBO you took and getting into expireds, talk about the growth of your team. I mean, like, or the growth of your sales business. I mean, from 36 units that first year, is that what you said? 36 or 29?
27 the first year. I think I was like 26, 25 the second year, about 36, 40 this third year. Yeah. And then I was kind of off after that.
And where are you now?
At the peak, I mean, 2-3 years ago when my team was kind of building, I started my team in 2017. And so I think that's a big piece of what we're sort of talking about. I mean, with the growth of the team, I think one of the best things that I did was sort of wait to put together a team. I'm seeing so many of these young entrepreneurs that are building businesses that cannot wait to get out and start a team. And I love the idea of leveraging themselves as much as possible. But I think one of the best things that I did is I was getting to the point where I was doing 85, 90 units like a year without barely an assistant. I mean, I had a part-time assistant. I didn't have a TC. I mean, I was doing everything myself. And it's still, when I go in and talk to my team today, I can kind of safely tell them, like, I've done every job in this organization, from throwing signs in the ground, which I did this morning, but from throwing signs in the ground to staging, to videographer, to realtor, to all of the things. I mean, to TC, like I've done them all, man. I've done them all over and over and over. And so, I was doing, at the peak of my business by myself, I was doing like 80 to 90 units roughly in there. Busy. I mean, I was working, 6-7 days a week, pretty ferociously for sure. Started my team in 2017. The peak of my personal business was in 2018 when the team, I sort of set up a support staff for a 10-person team, but at the time we were only a 3-person team. That year I did 118 units myself. I think the team did like 146 units or something like that. And at the time with my previous company, which was a big national company, we were the third most units sold in the entire country for a team our size, which was crazy because it was pretty much all me. But I thought that was interesting. And just that when I was by myself, I thought 85 units, 90 units was a max out. I mean, I didn't think I could take on another deal. And then, it's a testament to when you set up a structure and you set up people around you, I was able to do 30, 40 more units than that pretty comfortably, actually. Now where I'm at, I mean, I'm hoping with everything I've got going on, I tell everybody I need to sell like 50 houses a year just so I can keep breathing, because I love to do it so much. I don't want to stay too far away from the business. But this year I'll be, 50 units, 22, 25 million, hopefully, finishing up the year. So the team will hopefully still get to 200 or close, fingers crossed.
Great. Awesome. Hey, just curious, you made a comment about the benefit of being part of a national brand. And you said referrals, and you said the way that they promote you.
All of that, yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's like when we came over to KW, the team, we did a very focused and intentional marketing push, right? And so I know part of it was reaching out to you and asking, we come up with a press release and sort of distributing it through some of the KW channels. And we were able to get like national exposure for the move from the previous brand to KW. I mean, I had some local contacts. I had like the local newspaper here in downtown Colorado Springs behind me, a few contacts, but I mean, to be in Inman to be in some of these places that we're speaking about the team transitioning was really huge. And I mean, to me, that was a huge testament to Keller Williams and some of their press contacts for sure, and some of the strength that they have. But also, I mean, at the previous brand, we were like number 2 in the state over and over and over. We were number 1 in the state in units over and over and over for, I think, 3 straight years. And coming over here, it's like, you know, even taking last year's numbers, we were number 5 or 6, depending on the metrics for big teams. So it's just a bigger pond, you know, you're swimming with bigger people. I'm having meetings with I sat down with Tyler Shields last week. He's super impressive, awesome dude. So I mean, just the amount of like brain power that you can collaborate with and thought partner with at a company like this is really pretty astounding for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So why'd you decide to buy a brokerage?
Yeah, so probably a 2-part question. Why the brokerage, and then why the hell during, you know, going into this market, right? Out of the market we were in. So, and I thought they were hand in hand, right? The idea of buying a brokerage was sort of on my brain for a while. I thought about it with some business partners of mine for a few years now, and it was just sort of the idea of like creating an environment that entrepreneurs could thrive in, right? I mean, but honestly, I mean, creating an environment that you can inspire people, that you could on a daily basis learn from people, get better by being around and being in this collaborative, and just creating that space was always intriguing to me. Now, when I had an idea of what that looked like, originally we started looking at sort of the satellite office structure that KW has, which is spectacular, because I kind of had the idea originally of like, you know, a dojo, right, where we're taking karate students and turning them into ninjas, right? And I thought maybe we'd have 50 people in the office and it'd be a really tight group. And then as we started looking at some of the different models and writing performas on all of the different models and running everything, the idea of the bigger office started becoming a little bit more appealing. I built my business obviously in a market that was shrinking, and I do think there's a ton of power right now in building a business. And so for young people that are joining my team, I think I truly believe that right now is the best time that they can build a business. I think that over the previous 3 years, there was a lot of sloppy habits that were developed. I think there's a lot of inefficiencies that kind of popped up in the market because business was sort of flowing at an unusually easy pace.
Yeah.
And so I think at a time that sort of the realtor market is going to be contracting and you can actually go get market share, I really do believe it's the best time to build a business for young realtors. And so carrying that forward, I really thought with the brokerage model, I thought we'd seen a lot of disruptors in the marketplace that weren't there to stay, right? Like I just firmly believe if this isn't a belly to belly business, like I don't know what is, right? And I saw some disruptors in the market. I thought the market here locally in Colorado Springs especially started getting really competitive on like who's the cheapest, and everyone sort of started price dropping themselves down. And I thought there was a real window for a major brand that could lean on all the tools, all the benefits that they have, and sort of disrupt what things were doing. I thought brick and mortar was going to be coming back into play. I thought the training was going to be more important than ever. I thought a brand was going to be more important than ever. I think building business is more important than ever. And Russ, you called expireds. It is lonely out there working from home, working for one of these online brokerages where you're at home getting your butt kicked on a daily basis, and there's nobody there with you. And so I just felt like brick and mortar was going to be more and more important. The opportunity kind of came up for taking over a heritage Keller Williams office, the first KW that was in Colorado Springs. It was founded in 2000. We have a phenomenal region in North Colorado Springs. So I think there's a lot of strength in that, where a lot of the big commercial and all of the growth that's going on is in our region, which is super exciting. The office space itself is like 18,000 square feet, all one level, 200 parking spaces, views of the peak right off the freeway. We've got over 1,000 square foot committed to just training space with this beautiful training room. And so all of that just kind of got me so excited that one day I kind of woke up and I was like, all right, that's the canvas I want to take my brush to. And so that was kind of it, man. I was hemming and hawing for probably 6 months, and then just decided to dive in. And I thought that it was a good time because I thought there was gonna be a lot of realtors that needed what we were gonna be building.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're 100% right. I think it's as the market constricts and as things get tighter. Agents need more support. And these virtual brokerages, I mean, they offer a lot of cost savings, but sometimes you need to stand next to somebody and practice a script or ask a question or, just
or like, oh, you got hung up on? Oh, that happens to me too. Ha ha ha. Let's dial again. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell all my recruits that come from some of the online brokerages, I'm like, look, man, I can't compete with Netflix. We're a movie theater with popcorn bins and big soda things and reclining seats and the whole shebang. I can't compete with Netflix dollar for dollar, but the experience is certainly different, right? Yeah, and the conversation I've had with my team recently is our clients need professional realtors more than ever, right? I mean, right now in Colorado Springs, there's basically a 60-40 chance you hire the wrong realtor, your house isn't selling. And you're going to end up on an expired list, reattacking the market in 4 to 6 months. And I don't care what these people say, like, or how, unmotivated they think they are. It is a pain in the butt to get your house ready to sell. It is a huge life moment. And nobody's going through that unless they want to get their house sold. And so we need realtors that are going to come in, that are going to not come in like, coming in to take a listing and you name the price, but like, I'm the guy to walk in, Russ, and help you get your house sold and closed and not just listed. Right. And so I think our clients have more need for professionals now than ever. And I think that we need to be a place that we can harbor and train and grow professionals. And that's a process that goes on. This is a never ending game, man. I'm still learning, I'm still learning. I've sold way over 1,000 houses and I'm still learning. And so, I think a place, a hub where more people can come together, collaborate, cheer each other on, listen in, and like, whoa, what did you say? I'm putting that in my script moving forward, right? I think that's all going to be more important the next 2 years than ever.
Yeah. Greg, you joined us right about when we were talking about this idea of where entrepreneurs thrive. How do you see KW as a place where entrepreneurs thrive?
Yeah, it's a really big world. It's a really big world. And so the thing that I think is available in our position is, like I went to family reunion for the first time this year, right? And I described it as Disneyland. And what I mean by that is like, or Disney World, where you really can't attack it all in one day. If you're trying to take in all of it, it's going to be very difficult because there's rides for the 6-year-olds and the 16-year-olds and 66-year-olds and everything in between, right? And so to me, I think the beautiful thing about that is there's something for everybody, right? I mean, there's tools that are in place with you, and KW and Gary spend a ton of resources, obviously, on the education piece. And so as a broker coming in and being able to offer that level of training to that wide of, I mean, there's high level training for agents who have been in the business for a decade. There's high level agents training for brand new agents. And so to be able to offer that breadth of training, creating that on our own would take all day, every day, nonstop. So the training piece is there. I think that's already in place. I think the collaborative strength in numbers from across the country. I mean, I tell my clients, like, if we have people moving from Portland, I can call 3 offices in Portland and I'm reaching over 1,000 agents. Right. Because Keller Williams has such big offices, right? We have 200, 300, 400 agents per office. So one reach to one office and you can get in front of a wide group of agents in other markets. You can talk to agents that are dominating markets that aren't competing with yours. And on top of that, it just has a super super environment. I mean, some of the secrets that have been shared with me with other mega producers have been already, I mean, super invaluable. So it's just a really big pond, man. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to take in. And as somebody who's looked at the models with different brands and looked at the independent models, I don't think you can scale that size. And you can't, I mean, it just would be too painstaking. You need to bring in way too many people to do each of those things, from trainings to the offsite stuff, to the big collaborative panels and things like that are available all the time. So the fact that it's there and turnkey ready is so productive for sure. Yeah, that just with an independent brokerage and some that I've seen, it's just impossible for them to build out anything to that scale. So they can't offer the tools to 200, 300, 400 agents.
Right. Absolutely. Greg, what's your secret sauce? I mean, what do you do better in real estate than anybody you know?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, anytime I'm asked this question, the first thing that comes to mind is I just like outwork people. Honestly, I mean, I love it. I love selling houses. It's fun to me. It's more fun for me than fishing. It's more fun for me than golf. And so
Yeah.
it's so funny. People are like, oftentimes, they're selling or they're doing a job, and it's sort of like to fund, let's say, vacation or whatever their true passion is. And I'm like, man, you should do your passion every day for work. And that's what I get to do. So I worked hard. I mean, I work really hard. I think, I've got a background in marketing. And so I think I was able to sort of incorporate some sort of innovative at the time marketing tools. I was the first person I knew that kind of had the agent on camera for the video, where I'm kind of narrating the walkthrough in the video and some of the listings that we took. So I thought that was kind of ahead of its time, at least locally. I mean, our staging, our video, I mean, we really take a lot of pride in making sure that our listings are presented a certain way and marketed a certain way. And so I think that's what we do better than anybody. I mean, I think we've got photos that, we're constantly tweaking and trying to make sure they look like they belong in Better Homes and Gardens. We've got videos that we think should, be on HGTV. It needs to be that level of quality, and our videographers do an amazing job. Our staging, we want it to be branded. We want it to be thorough. We don't want you to go down to the basement and all of a sudden feel like that's the empty space. That's the space that needs to feel alive and not cold, right? And so those things, as well as some of our marketing tools inside the house and stuff like that, we really, really try to make sure that the value proposition of the house is super forward facing and super clear for the buyer.
Yeah. It's interesting when you took your OP role and we got that Inman story, which for those who don't know, your move to KW and your OP role happened at the same time. Your video announcement was stellar. And it's really interesting because a lot of agents, in my opinion, they're running businesses, but they are missing opportunities to launch things and to do so in spectacular ways. And your video's launch was really good.
I appreciate that. Yeah. For those, if anybody wants to go back to my Facebook, we did like an office tour. We did it like a listing tour, but we did like an office tour. We had 6 or 7 or 8 people from my team kind of popping in and giving tours for little pieces of the office. That was a lot of fun. And the office is so easy to show off. I mean, it's a spectacular space for sure. I think as a whole, most realtors are trying to net too much, to be completely honest. It's good to make money, but the goal should not be to shrink your budget as tight as possible. The goal should be to build your budget as big as possible, right? Build a big business. Big budgets mean bigger business, means more money flowing in. And so I think most people, as you look at your real estate business, I think if you're doing it correct, you should be close to 50 or 60% net before taxes. Honestly, I don't think the business is meant to be, paying an online brokerage $10,000 a year, spending $5,000 or $500 on photos, and that's all you spend all year. Like, pour back into your business, come up with different ways to differentiate yourself. I know some people do phenomenal client events. I'm not a great party planner myself, but some people do phenomenal like client events and things like that. We spend a lot of money and a lot of effort on staging and video and photography, but come up with your niche for sure. And if it's that you're a tireless worker and that you eat, sleep, and breathe your clients, like, come up with marketing ways that you're expressing that to your clients and making sure they know how dedicated you are for sure. But for those of you out there who are operating a real estate business at a net 80%, 90%, like, you gotta spend money. You're thinking too small.
Yeah, for sure. I've hired a lot of people into real estate or help them find a different brokerage, and I've coached a lot of agents. And about 95% of the time, when a high producer comes to me and says, my business has stopped growing, it's almost always because of a lack of investing back in the business in terms of marketing. You know, the KW model is 10% of your GCI goes back into the business to keep it growing. And I don't think a lot of agents realize that. And to your point, they try to cut costs, but they're cutting the wrong costs.
Right. Yeah, the goal, and especially right now, I think in the market that we have today, I think it's more important now than ever to grab that market share, right?
Yeah.
I say a lot that we had this business between 2017 and 2020, 22, where it was just, especially in Colorado Springs, I know in Denver, you guys felt it as well, but it was just hungry hippos. People were just coming, and it was just, hit your paddle and you scoop it up. Well, now we're back into a place where we need to grab market share from our competitors, right?
Yeah.
And so there are more opportunities like expireds. There are more opportunities for referrals because our clients understand that their friends, their family, they need help, right?
Yeah.
They need good agents. And so marketing to them, differentiating yourself, letting them know what you do that sets you apart, more critical now than ever. Got to be able to find a way to grow the business as everybody else is contracting right now.
Absolutely. Love that. Hey, is there anything that I haven't asked you that I should have?
Oh man. Yeah, I think Colorado Springs, I'll just speak on my city a little bit. I think it's an awesome place. I think it gets a rap as being maybe a little bit of a small town. The downtown is like really thriving. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. I think there's a lot of cool concerts and things like that. The soccer stadium downtown is really a lot of fun. So just for those who haven't had a chance to come and check out Colorado Springs, the mountains are so close. I live in downtown Colorado Springs, right behind me right now. In 30 minutes, I could be in a completely different world into the mountains. I think the accessibility to all of that, I think it's just a really special place. And so just really love this city, love the surrounding areas around it. And I'm really grateful that I was able to find Colorado Springs, and kind of just grateful that I get to sell real estate here. Where we live plays such a role, but I kind of fancy myself sort of the unofficial ambassador of Colorado Springs. I think if you're selling real estate, you need to feel that way. You need to, know the cool, need to know the school districts. You need to know the cool places to check out live music, the cool places to get food that are off the map. Become an ambassador for the city, where you're promoting to your clients and you're promoting to your colleagues, like all the wonderful things the city has to offer. Because if you're more passionate about what you're selling, you're going to sell better.
100%. I flew from St. Louis, Missouri to Denver on Tuesday, got in at about 10:30, got my rental car. I was at my hotel in Colorado Springs at 12:05 in the morning, and woke up the next morning, and it was just the beautiful, perfect Colorado Springs morning where you can't miss Pikes Peak and the mountain views, and air's crisp.
Those purple morning Pikes Peak mountains, unbelievable.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I was in Denver like a week ago for a concert, and I looked at my GPS. It said 5 miles, 35 minutes. I don't know how you guys deal with the traffic up there. Colorado Springs still flows pretty easy. Downtown is still pretty convenient. You can get around. To me, it's the perfect size. Denver to me is almost like a little too much. And I grew up in San Francisco, so I'm used to a big city, but man, it's a lot of size. Yeah. Very cool that it's accessible though.
Greg, it was a pleasure talking with you and getting to know you a little better today. And thanks for being on the podcast.
Always, brother. We'll have to do it over breakfast again soon, for sure.
All right. Talk soon. Take care.